Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the order of the September 7, 2022 Plan Commission. If you could all stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sergio, roll call, please.
Bob Burleson.
Here.
Yolanda Cardona will not be here today. John Gill.
Here.
Joe Gomestego.
Here.
Bob Valois.
Present.
Jason Vlasic.
Here.
John Kennedy.
Here.
Attorney Adam Decker.
Here.
Engineer Ken Kraus.
Here.
Councilman Liaison Brian Blazak.
Present.
And Town Manager Joe Izawadi.
Present. You have a quorum to hold our meeting. Next, we have minutes. If anyone had time to review the minutes, I will entertain a motion. If we want to take them together, we can take them together, or if you want to break them out, fine, either or.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 3rd, 2022 Plan Commission regular meeting minutes, as well as the August 17th, 2022 Plan Commission study session minutes.
I have a motion to approve both the August 3rd and the August 17th Plan Commission meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to give that to Bob. Or you want it, Bob?
No, I don't want it.
All right, give it to Jason. Jason has a second. Discussion, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Here, may I make a request? I think last time we were here, I asked for planning commission study session minutes, and they said they didn't have them because there was a, did I hear wrong?
Well, they came out in our email that we received a week ago, Joe,
All right.
so I don't.
All right, no problem.
Well, do you want to change your vote?
No, yeah, I go with the vote then.
Okay,
Okay. Approve.
okay, no. Next on the
Right
agenda,
email?
we have 4 public hearings tonight.
And she works.
Uh,
She does very.
So we will start with our first public hearing. We have for Astoria, this is for proposed preliminary plat at 10122 Parish Avenue. If we have the petitioner, Mike, how are you, sir?
How are you?
Good.
Good evening. My name is Michael with Diamond Peak, 1313 White Hawk Drive, and with me I have our engineer, Tom Peterman from Cage Engineering. I'll let you state your address.
My address is 301 South Fairview, Park Ridge, Illinois.
And we are here seeking primary plat approval for our Astoria subdivision here in St. John. We've been in front of you guys for quite some time now. I know Tom and Cage have been working with Ken on the engineering review comments. There have been some back and forth regarding that. We have also publicized in 2 newspapers along with all of the mailings within the 300-foot radius of our property. And again, like I said, we're here seeking primary plat approval and are here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the board before I open it up to public hearing? All right, I will start. Before I open it up to public hearing, I thought it'd be good for me to read the letter that we received from Ken regarding the primary plat. It says, "Dear Plan Commission, we have reviewed the primary plat for the reference project and have the following comments. 1, this project includes 90 residential lots, 7 outlots, associated infrastructure, and facilities on 69.44 acres. 2, we have reviewed the plans prepared by Cage Engineering, certified on 7/8/2022, and reviewed revisions on 8/26/2022, and find them to be satisfactory with the following exceptions. A, concrete sidewalks along Parish Avenue at the pipeline crossings are 6 feet wide per pipeline company requirement. The town ordinance requires concrete walks and are 8 feet wide." So just for the board's understanding, if we proceed forward, there will have to be a waiver for the sidewalk to be reduced in size. B, the sanitary sewer is not within the easement to Century Drive due to the location of the existing landscaping and public utilities NIPSCO, AT&T. The new sewer is to connect to the existing sewer main on Century Drive. The developer is working with property owners and utility companies regarding obtained additional easements and/or temporary relocation of facilities for this sewer to be installed. And maybe before the public hearing, you guys could address that issue. Item 3, the application fee is $18,000, 90 lots times 200, 18,000, and is to be paid prior to Plan Commission primary plat approval, which was paid 8/24/2022. And the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, SWIP, has not been reviewed at this time. The fee for this review will be determined at the time of the review. Sincerely, Ken Kraus. So, why don't we, I think we all understand the sidewalk issue, unless anyone has a question regarding the sidewalk. But can you address us as to the status of the sanitary sewer?
Sure, I get to do this one. So we have, in the ending connection of the whole subdivision, goes through the gates of St. John. There's 2 lots, I think they're lots 396 and 397. There's an existing NIPSCO transformer at the back of 396. There is also a storm sewer structure on the lot line. We do not believe there's any dry utilities between those 2 lots, but the neighbor at 397 has built up their landscaping pretty heavily adjacent to the lot, and we were trying to avoid that landscaping and trying to put the sewer along the north side of that lot line, a little offside of the property line, thereby possibly requesting additional easement. It would not infringe upon the setback of that lot. That was option 1. Option 2 involves moving some of the NIPSCO transformers and lines, which we have been in discussion with NIPSCO a couple times and have come to an agreement of which way we would do it if option number 1 were not to work, or option number 3, which is going directly underground and boring straight from our site into the sewer in the right-of-way. So that would be option 3. I think we have 3 options that really work. In all the options, getting additional easement is not required. We just wanted to make it easier for everybody in case somebody had to come back in there and fix it. But right now, we're investigating all options, and we do not have finality on any of the 3 options at this time.
Ken, any follow-up to that?
I think he explained it pretty well. There's several things that can be done to get that sewer in, and that sewer is very important. It serves 90% of this subdivision. So any of those 3 options that Tom mentioned are viable. They're all okay with the town. It shouldn't matter which one of them is used by from the standpoint of how the town looks at maintenance and that. So any of those 3 options would be fine.
All right. Questions?
Do you have
Comment?
do you have pictures of the landscaping? What's out there now?
We can provide that to you. I don't have it on me tonight, but when you take Google Maps and we've taken photography, I mean, it's nice. It's arborvitae, it's pavement, it's all that kind of, I mean, he or she did a nice patio right there adjacent to there. And we're concerned it's close enough that it would get disturbed with any utility construction.
Ken, do you know if that's a emergency overland flow route between the?
not.
It's not? Okay.
And I would imagine the town would want that additional easement, just if they have to service it, yeah.
Yeah, if they put it in where they show it on the plans, they'll need additional easement because they'll be 2 feet out beyond the easement line. So if they get the 4 feet like they talked, they'll be 2 feet inside. And it's not, how deep is that? Like 12 feet?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too deep, but the other thing to that, Ken, is that, I mean, one of the things that we're talking about is you go on a little bit of a skew and hug the line a little bit. I mean, it really centralizes it across that easement that's already there,
Right,
so.
the biggest obstacles is at the backyard corner.
Right.
The ones in the front is wide open. They could get back into the easement after they get past the landscaping.
Correct. Trying to preserve the existing landscape and trying to thread the needle with the NIPSCO transformer and the storm structure that's on the lot line.
And Ken, what size line would we require for that?
For this line here?
Yeah.
It's a 8-inch.
That would be an 8-inch, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see that the plans changed over the crossover for the utility right-of-way there, and that worked out pretty well. So I'm glad that you guys got that figured out.
I mean, I had mentioned to Ken, it's the same situation where, we're addressing a situation, we're trying to make it work the best for the town. We think we've got viable solutions, and it's just a matter of time getting this rectified.
Yeah.
Hearing no other questions, I'm going to start the public hearing. If you guys want to take a seat for a minute. Sergio, I'm assuming everything's good for public hearing?
Everything's in order, yes.
All right, I am going to open up the public hearing for the proposed preliminary plat for Astoria at 10122 Parish Avenue. The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak regarding preliminary plat? Going once, going twice. Sergio, anything electronically? I know you usually put in our packet, but
No, we have not received anything this evening, as of this evening, regarding any emails, correspondence.
with that, I'm going to close public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Gentlemen, you got to come back up again. I bring it back to the board. You have Ken's letter regarding the sidewalk. If it's a pleasure of the board, we would need to provide them a waiver. And then based on any recommendation, please acknowledge Ken's letter, especially with the sanitary sewer, that will need to be resolved and approved by the town engineer. And then referencing the finding of facts. With that. You guys want to take the waiver first? The waiver is from 8 to 6 feet. You're not changing the material, it's still concrete. And it's just the location over the pipeline.
It is concrete. We clarified that with them.
Okay.
Originally, it was supposed to be asphalt.
I want to make a,
So we're doing the waiver for the sidewalk, okay.
for the sidewalk, approval for the sidewalk waiver from 8 feet to 6 feet along Parish Avenue for Astoria.
And I know we don't have boundaries, but we're just talking over the pipeline easement. Okay, so I have a motion to approve a waiver from 8 to 6 feet along the pipeline easement. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second by Bob Valoy. Comments, discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So the waiver is through. Next on the agenda then, we have the motion for a motion to approve, deny, defer, proposed preliminary plat. Please reference findings of fact and Ken Kraus's letter, especially the approval of the sanitary connection.
Make a motion to approve preliminary plat for Astoria and findings of facts and Ken's letter and the approval for the tie-in for the sanitary sewer.
All right, I got a motion to approve the preliminary plat, referencing Ken's letter and the review and approval of the sanitary connection, referencing the finding of facts. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by John. Discussions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Thank
You're gonna miss us. I know you guys will. I know you gotta come back. I know you gotta come back.
you, Mike.
I know you guys gotta come back, but you'll miss us. All right, next on the agenda, we have a public hearing for Streamside, proposed rezone to RC PUD for a proposed 54 single-family lot at 12811 109th Avenue. Chip, how are you, sir?
Very good, ladies and gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Good, and yourself?
Very good. I actually think I saw a small tear in Mike's eye as he walked out.
I'm sorry?
A small tear in his
Oh,
eye.
I don't know if it's of joy, of sorrow.
What, a year and forever?
I don't think he said that. He was just very happy.
It could be just indigestion.
Allergies.
Who knows?
I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. We'll see.
You're not gonna be. No, we don't have
I know we tried to do this last.
You gotta plug it over there, sorry.
Oh, okay. Would it be different than last time? It didn't work last time?
Is it the same unit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Same difference? Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
It's not gonna.
Very good. That's quite all right.
Yeah.
Well, we had good intentions.
More paper. Yeah.
While that's getting booted up, Chip Kruzmark from Old Hoff Homes, 51 Wicker Avenue in St. John. I'm here to, again, talk to you about our Streamside project at the southwest corner of White Oak Avenue and 109th. In summary, the site is 37 acres, 54 lots. Minimum size lot is about 12,600 square feet, which is about a third of an acre. We've, at the workshop meeting in August, I went over some of the changes that we had made based on comments you had given us. And as you can see from, you got the next one on the main slide.
Second. Swap.
The overall layout has not changed. For those of you that were not here in August, we did extend the path along the south side of 109th through the wetlands. That will be
Go back to that.
along the right-of-way. And we removed it from going around the house on the privately owned home on White Oak Avenue. We also removed part of the path that went between the pond itself and the detention area. Thanks. So we'll figure out a way. We've talked to a landscaper, and we'll figure out a way to make that path work along the south of 109th. And I'll kind of roll through this since most of you have seen this presentation. We want to get some samples. Last month I brought a bunch of samples in, maybe too many. But these are showing the variety of colors, whether the siding is LP Smart Side or Hardy Plank. The next slide shows some of the different stones that are available to us that we use all the time. We brought those in too, and again, I want to thank some of you for helping me carry all these samples back out to my car after the meeting. It was a little bit of a task, and I very much appreciate, even Jenna got involved. Some of the brick selections that we brought in, and then a variety of shingles, shutters, trim colors, and garage doors that will all be part of the PUD and what we'll be building in the site. And then wrapping up is kind of the anti-monotony. I tried to kind of color code this to show the restrictions that we'll have in place where if a home, subject home at a location in the middle, the orange one, that the homes across the street next door can't have the same floor plan, cannot have the same siding, masonry, trim color combination, basically won't look anything alike. And then when you jump to the B lots across the street and over one, those also cannot have the same floor plan, elevation, and it can have the same siding and masonry combination. So again, we're gonna mix it up pretty good. And then the C's, jumping out to green, the home can be the same floor plan, but it has to be a completely different elevation, and it has to have a different siding color. So basically comparing this to your ordinance, this is more strict than the town's ordinance. And it doesn't get until you get to D, there where the home can have the same floor plan elevation combination. And the next slide kind of shows your regulation, section 24-130, and kind of how, in summary, how ours will be a little more stringent than what we have in place currently. One of the comments that we discussed was the different styles of homes, and these are some of the key elements that make up whether it's a craftsman, traditional, shingle, farmhouse, whether it's shutters, siding, or masonry, or accent trim. And then the next shows a few different styles, whether it's trim around the windows, the columns that might be out in the front near the porch, gable supports, and then finally gable styles, and then garage doors. So there's quite a few different elements that we can utilize to make sure that from an anti-monotony point of view, it's quite different from home to home and even basically down the whole street. And then I got into some pictures of a particular home. Now, I just grabbed a 2897. The intent of showing these is to show, here's one floor plan with a variety of looks, and then the key importance here is that 14%. That's the level of masonry that's on this home. We're saying in our PUD we'll have no less than 30%. So this home, which I think is a great-looking home, we cannot build, and we will not build because it doesn't have 30%. The next slide is a home with quite a bit of masonry, which adds up to 50% of the front elevation.
Okay.
That one we could build. The 2897 traditional, not quite my style of brick, but that's fine. But again, it's only 13%, so not allowed to be built. And the next one, which is kind of a green or gray hue, has 43% brick. And again, this is just to give you an idea of what 30% looks like, what 40%, what 50% looks like. The next one is a traditional home. Again, I think quite attractive, but it only has 15% masonry, so we could not build that. Whereas this version has 46%, and we could.
And just for clarification, Chip, you're saying 46% of the front,
Yes.
not of the whole house?
No. We're all talking about
46%?
front elevations, just like
Okay.
all the other PDs. Yep. The next one is kind of a beige home. And again, nice-looking house, only 13%. We can't build it. The darker gray here has 42%. That is an option for us. And again, these are just samples of colors and mixes. There's a lot of different colors and stone that we can mix up. And then the farmhouse, which is, again, nice-looking house, I think, but would not be able to be built. The next plan is 55% masonry and would be an option. And then this shows just some other styles just that are all over 30%, but just to give you an idea of what 32 or 40% kind of looks like on the home. So there'll be quite a variety of colors and siding, and it's going to be restricted as to what colors can be next to each other, what elevations can be next to each other. The following slide shows the different homes. Each row is a different floor plan with variety of elevations, and then you can see that some of them have a colonial style, some don't. Some have a shingle style, some don't, but there's quite a selection. So in a nutshell, from an anti-monotony point of view, this is going to look great. And we've certainly learned in areas where maybe we didn't do as well as we had hoped, that we're going to excel at it and we're going to do quite well. And then, of course, as part of the PUD, all homes will be required to have at a minimum a 2.5-car garage, if not 3. And in kind of summary, in developing this site as an RC2 PUD, we're asking for a change from the R1 zoning, which requires 20,000 square feet and is 100 feet wide. We're asking for 12,600 square feet as our minimum lot size, with a minimum lot width of 90 feet versus 100 feet in an R1 straight zoning. In exchange for this, we're offering a site that offers 37% open space on the property, extensive landscaping trails and park amenities, the 2.5-car garage minimum, front yard irrigation is standard, a minimum of 30% masonry of the front elevation, LP siding or hardy plank versus vinyl siding, and a pretty darn stringent anti-monotony policy. In looking at our landscape plan that we've had put together by Gary Weber Associates, it exceeds $400,000 over and above what we might do in a typical R1 site. And each of the home values, because of these restrictions we put upon that you've suggested to us, the home values from a cost point of view will be, from a market value point of view, will be between $36,000 and $70,000 more than if we were in a straight zoning situation. In total for the whole site, you're looking at about $2.3 to $4.2 million in added value. So you're getting more homes than you would in an R1 to increase your tax base, but you're getting higher value homes too, which we hope is appealing to you. And in a nutshell, that's kind of our summary, and hopefully we've addressed all the concerns you've had over the past few months.
Questions, comments from the board? So, Chip, you know I wasn't here, and unfortunately, I'm going to play bad cop. So, I appreciate the effort and the you've moved with the anti-monotony, but I think I've sort of addressed my concern with the frontage, the brick in the front, that you're providing us what I would consider, while you say 50% of the front, that's 25% in general of the whole house. I mean, that's not even, you're giving us 50% of 25% of the house. You're asking for a reduction of close to 40% in a lot size. 12,600 square feet is a small lot, which I can't believe I'm saying this, because usually I'm the one more about density. My personal take is, I don't know if we're getting enough bang for our buck with this, because we're setting precedent, right? Yeah. Greystone came in, then, oh my God, Astoria came in, and actually it's 36% reduction from 12,000 to 12.6. And we're going up to 50% of the front of the house, more masonry. I appreciate you guys are making move direction in the right way. I just don't know if we're all the way there yet, in my take. But we'll open it up to public hearing. It doesn't look like there's going to be much public comment, and then we'll open discussion to the board. So,
certainly.
With that, Sergio, you said everything was ready for the board?
Yep.
Or public hearing?
Yes, sir.
Going to open up the public hearing for proposed rezone to RCPUD, plan unit development for a proposed 54 single-family lot subdivision. Is there anyone, public hearing is now open. Anyone would like to comment? Going once, twice? Sergio, anything electronically?
We have not received any emails, correspondence regarding a remonstrance for this proposal.
Number 3, call for public comment. Hearing no, seeing none. Public comment is now closed. Chip, if you want to come back up. Chip, as you know, this is a recommendation from this board to the town council. The town council has the ultimate decision. For the board understanding, there's 3 options for recommendation. There is a favorable, unfavorable, and no recommendation. And then we put it all in the lap of the town council. So with that, I'll open it up to any other discussions, any questions you have for Chip. And then if not, I will entertain a motion or a recommendation at the behest of the board.
Want to make a motion, favorable recommendation for Streamside rezone to RC-2 PUD.
I have a motion by Bob for a favorable recommendation on, for RC2 PUD. Is there a second? Second does not mean you have to vote for it. It does open it up for discussion. I need a second to move forward. If not, the motion dies. So is there a second? Adam, how much time should I give before I should pull back the motion?
Well, Mr. Chair, that's really your discretion after you think it's been properly considered.
Okay. I will ask again if there's a motion, a favorable recommendation. Motion has been put out. Is there anyone that would like to second that? I'm going to remove the motion. Is there any questions or comments for Chip before I will entertain a other motion again? Other motions are unfavorable or no recommendation at all.
Chip, what kind of plan are you guys looking at for bringing the path across the pond area?
Along 109th?
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I'm gonna have to leave that up to the engineers because we'll be impacting the wetlands, and we need to be able to do that in the least damaging way, because in addition to the cost of putting it there, there'll be some mitigation, some fees we're gonna have to pay because we'll be impacting those wetlands. But I'd like to say I play an engineer on TV, and I don't. And so I'm gonna leave that up to professionals to figure out how best we can make that happen.
If I may.
Absolutely.
With respect to the property that's located in the northeast section there, which is part of the development, what's the intention of that property? Are you guys planning on demolishing that property, or what's the deal with that?
We would plan to sell that property.
Okay, so the property you're looking to sell. So would there be any consideration for different future configurations for 109th and White Oak on that property? Would you give any kind of considerations for some use of that?
I
Which would
think
obviously offset your road impact fees, stuff like that?
I think there's probably a number of things we would consider,
Okay,
but not being able to get even a second tonight to have a discussion about this concerns me. And I think if I've learned anything, working at Old Toff now for 3 years, they're a highly ethical company that's very proud to be in this town. But I'm a little surprised that I can't get a second just to have a conversation here about this project. We've answered about everything you could answer. We've gone above and beyond to try to make this a really beautiful site. We're saying that we're going to increase the home values by doing all sorts of things. And I drove to a beautiful site today on White Oak Avenue north of us, about 1.5 miles, with semi-custom homes, and many of them could not be built in our project because they don't have enough masonry, and all that masonry is on the front. So I feel a little bit bad that we're stepping it up above some semi-custom home projects, and I can't even get a second to have a conversation, let alone approval.
So the discussion would only have been before the board, the second. And we're not questioning,
Right.
We're not questioning the integrity of Altoff at all.
No, I agree, but
So-
I feel bad that we can't get a second just so that you all can talk and that I can be involved in that conversation. And
Well, the floor is now open, so there could be discussion between the board and you. Chip, I think I've been up, I think I've made my point clear that I would have liked to seen all brick on the front, because I consider this a significant reduction. If we were going from R2, 15,000 square feet, and only reducing it by 16%, I think this would have been acceptable to me. We are going down from a 20,000 square foot lot to something that a couple years ago, we wouldn't even consider in this town, of a 12,600 square feet. So I consider that a significant bump or significant reduction in the lot size to only go from potentially 13% to 46% on the front. I mean, you do have some great amenities. You got the 3-car garage, you got the irrigation, that's great, and you got the hardy board. The open space could be because there's wetlands or your detention, so there's plus and minus. I don't know what to tell you other than, what has happened before in other developments, maybe either before our time, wasn't a PUD. And so I don't know how to answer that question, but again, we are not questioning the integrity of Altoff at all.
And I'm not trying to,
Okay.
I'm just saying I think I've asked for their guidance on some things to help move this project along, and I think we've done about everything we can possibly do, and obviously I don't use this as a threat, but the alternative is to fall back to an R1. We'll lose some lots, but then the homes aren't going to have, the features aren't going to be there, the amenities aren't all going to be there, and we would rather not go that way, quite honestly.
And that's the benefit of a PUD.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
But we also don't necessarily need more 20,000 square foot lots. And as I drive around the community, I think there's a lot of people, and we have the customers, they don't want a 20,000 square foot lot. Some do, and those options are there.
You know, if you could show me some data where you're getting it, you talk to some people, then that's something to sink your teeth in. But when you say that without factual data, then it just comes to a selling point.
Sure.
You're not being respectful.
No,
okay?
I appreciate that.
So
And this is me
that's-
talking to our salespeople who say, you know what, we have lots in this project, but not everybody wants to spend most of their Saturday doing yard work. You know, some want to have something a little bit smaller. And still 12,000, a third of an acre is certainly not a small property. These lots are bigger than the lots up north of us off White Oak Avenue. They're 80-foot lots. These are 90s. So I'm not calling anybody bad. It's just a variety. And this is not an 80-acre development. This is a 37-acre site. It's not taking up a big area of town.
The only difference, Chip, is you're running 150 feet deep instead of 200 like most of those up north of you are.
Well, the ones I'm speaking of are 150 feet deep and 80 foot wide. Yeah, on the front, the latest homes being built. And again, it's a beautiful project. But even when I look at the front of those homes, as I drive down the street with all the activity along White Oak Avenue there, most of them are at that, 15, 20% brick in the front, and I think they look great. But I feel kind of bad that we're stepping up to say 30%, which is more than Astoria had, which is more than probably Greystone had. So we're stepping it up. We're trying to meet your needs and do extra things to make this work.
If I could make a comment, I've always, and Chip, you know this, I've been pushing for lot width, and when you start getting into 80 and 75 foot wide lots, and the house is this big and the lot is just a little bit bigger, it's kind of shocking to me. But 90 to 100 foot wide lots. My sister-in-law has a 100 foot wide lot and 150 feet deep. It's a nice sized lot.
That's about what these
Is
are.
it an R1? No, but it's a nice sized lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I made that motion, a favorable recommendation. I'm not as concerned probably as other board members about the amenities on the house, because developers here in town, they build, for the most part, nice homes. And so that was never really a concern of mine, of really any of these subdivisions that go in, is, and I understand where John's coming from. He wants to see more masonry, and that's fine.
Sure. And this, for example, compared to Astoria, this has got more masonry.
Yeah.
We're taking it up. I think on some of their styles, based on their PUD, they don't have to have any masonry.
Yeah.
So we're setting the bar higher, guys. We're trying to make it happen.
And my comment right now is not to persuade one way or the other, it's just, that's why I made that motion.
And Bobby, I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
So, all right. Any other further comments for Chip? Again, we have a option for either two other motions. You have a unfavorable and/or a no recommendation, or we can reconsider a favorable recommendation if that is so choosing of the board.
Can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely.
If there is no recommendation, for example, would it still move along then to council?
It would go
then
to
they
the council with no recommendation from the plan commission.
Okay.
That is my understanding, correct?
That would be correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you, Chip.
Certainly.
Traffic study, what'd you come up with?
It's not completed yet. I would hope we would have before council, but regardless, whatever it says we have to do, we're going to do.
We would do that at preliminary plat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we brought it up at our study
Right.
session.
Yeah. We fully expect there'll be acceleration, deceleration on White Oak and who knows what else beyond that.
Yeah.
Will they be looking at the intersection of 109th and White Oak?
From a traffic study point of view, yep.
Are they going to, by chance, look at a roundabout set up for that, Chip? Are you
You know,
aware?
we did something similar in Crown Point, and the city was interested in a roundabout, and the traffic study looked at the factors that are involved that would require a roundabout, which I think was ahead of lights, or I forget how that falls in the tier. And that traffic study recommended that it did not meet the needs for a roundabout.
No, I was just curious
So,
if it had been looked into.
Yeah,
and
but it will be,
what the evaluation was.
It will
'cause
be-
that's-
it'll be part of it.
That's a county, county, state, controlled road. We've got nothing to do with it.
sure, yeah. It'll be, part of the factor when they see what kind of traffic, and obviously there's a lot of east and west traffic. And I was out the other day coming south, and it was kind of hard to get out
Well,
there, but.
there's another point too, and Lars is going to be developed at some point in the near future. And with 750 houses going in there, that traffic is gonna be heading to Chicago. And where are they coming?
Yeah.
They got not too many options.
Right.
All right, I'm going to bring it back to the board. Again, there's three options again back on the table. Is there anyone that would like to make a motion? Or, I'm sorry, make a motion for a recommendation? Adam, no recommendation? Motion for any type of recommendation? What happens there?
Well, Mr. Chairman, our ordinance provides that the Plan Commission, after first determining whether all of the PUD requirements have been satisfied, shall recommend approval with modifications, or disapproval of the PUD development plan. So, as written, I believe the Plan Commission must eventually act, although it's not required to act this evening if the Plan Commission's not prepared to do so. The Plan Commission shall enter its findings for any action taken in its records. And the ordinance goes on to provide that the Plan Commission may recommend the establishment of the PUD zoning district only upon a determination with findings as follows. And there are approximately 11 or 12 findings that would be made with that recommendation for approval. I can read
So-
those to you if you want, or
That's good. I guess there is a fourth option. There is a motion to defer, if that is the pleasure of the board. So again, we had favorable, no second. That does not mean it can't come back up. Unfavorable recommendation, no recommendation, motion to defer to the next meeting.
What about, I know the brick was kind of the hang-up with you, John, and I don't know if that's why people are kind of skittish to commit one way or the other. What about if, on the corner lots, there's some kind of brick requirement? Would that kind of satisfy you? I mean, I get why they're doing what they're doing on the front, because to put, like, in this top left corner here, to put brick on the gable end, I mean, that's a lot more arduous of a task than just coming up off the foundation with brick. So that's why a lot of times you'll see a brick front on a house for the first floor, because you can build off the foundation with the brick. When you start getting into, the roof lines and stuff, I mean, you're talking about setting steel in the house to build off with the brick, and I think that's why a lot of the homes you see don't have that commitment, and that's almost like a full-blown custom home where you're setting an I-beam in your garage to stack brick on, just to get brick on that little, four-sided triangle there on that 32% to get that 100%. And I know you were saying about only the fronts, and I know some other subdivisions have language like that where corner lots that are visible from the street would kind of get some bricks. I mean, I don't know if that would kind of.
First, hopefully no one's skittish about what I think. No, I think it's just because of the sure reduction in square footage And I think we set precedent. He's absolutely right. You know, Greystone was a learning experience for us. Astoria was a learning experience. This has become a learning experience. And I think every time we come into a situation like this, I'm just trying to raise the bar. Now, where that bar is, I'm still trying to figure out. Chip's still trying to figure out. Right now, I just don't think the bar is raised high enough for going from a 20,000 to 12.6. Now, if he came back and said, hey, I'll go from a 20 to 15, maybe that bar is okay for me now. And I'm just giving suggestions. Chip,
No,
I'm not making any.
No,
recommend-
that's fine.
But that's,
What?
it's that, I'm sure, and I understand, I'm all about density, you know me.
Yeah.
I never worried about lot size. I was always like, but I just don't know if I don't feel like we've got our best bang for our buck yet. And he is moving in the right direction from the other ones, but I always feel we're setting precedent. Either though any project is unique on its own, but someone else is gonna come back here and said, you reduce that by 36%, and that's all I'm giving you.
Yeah, and
And I'm just, unfortunately, Michael was,
Cross-
he was in the crosshair after Greystone. Chip is in that same crosshair now.
Yeah.
And so I'm just,
I mean,
Bob, you make great points about the brick. I'm not a construction guy. That's a great point. Bob makes a good point. I'm just not, I don't have that
and
comfort
seeing
level there yet.
the next door in Summerlin Estates where it's just a straight R1 with no restrictions from the PUD that this is creating. I mean, a lot of them have that 15% brick,
And the amenities, I'm sorry.
weren't allowed in, a lot of the pictures that he shows that in his presentation that can't be built in here, a lot of those are built along Isles and Light and Song and Vine, where it's just a straight R1 zoning, where there's no percentage. I mean, they have pure vinyl siding houses in there, so I mean,
Chip, have you got a
No,
point?
I understand, I
You know
agree
what?
100% because,
I-
like he said, we got I like more than a two-car garage, but because I can't get my cars in a two-car garage. So they're doing amenities,
And I agree with John in a way, you got to give and take, but, at the same time, you're talking about dollar value, market value. By what you're saying and what John is saying, it says you're increasing the market value there, you're increasing, if you do that for, there's some give and take, but John is saying, let's keep the bar up high, and if you
Well, I-
decide to say, I don't, this is as far as we go, then what are we to do here?
Well, likewise, I've tried to make these adjustments as we've met over the last year. And as I said, right now, if you add up the increased value in these homes, somewhere between $3 and $4 million more for this site.
But if you put additional brick, like John is saying, that's going to increase the value, isn't it? Or is
Well,
it
it's going to
not
make the
true?
house more costly,
Oh,
sure.
okay, there
Yeah.
you go.
But
So-
we're already making the homes $30,000 to $70,000 more expensive.
You know what?
And I was hoping that would,
The interesting part in this
Move it
that
along.
older homes are in the town of St. John with R1 value, receiving the less amenities that we're looking at, they're selling outright, something I was fearful for. But now, all of a sudden, the market is up there because people see that the opportunities to move in St. John's, open space, and so forth with R1 lots. Now you're coming over here telling us, well, we could reduce that to R2, then we give this amenities, and that this price value, we'll be able to sell it. Well, John is giving you the option here, and I thought it was reasonable. Hey, give us this across the board. That basically puts your company at a higher value. People are going to look at that, and there you go.
Right.
But the option is, I thought it was reasonable enough. And I'm the one that I love our two lots because that keeps the area a lot free for several reasons. Okay, I can't go down the line. I am not disputing with you about the credibility of your company. I'm just saying that look at how we're trying to dissect this for the best interest of the town of St. John later on in the future. That's
Right.
what we're looking at.
and that's all we want to. And that's why our thought was that we had stepped up in a big way because we'd taken it above and beyond the past PUDs. And so I was hoping that we were at that point.
Chip, have you got a plan? And I'm sure you brought a few of them forward when we've met and then also brought them here. Do you have a plan with 15,000 square foot lot?
We had a plan put together with R1.
I thought Well, you had one with R1, but that was 20,000. I'm
Right.
talking if you go from 12.6 to 15.
I do not have that plan.
Okay,
I
I was
don't
just
believe we-
curious if you had
Yeah.
one yet.
I think we did one at R1 where the zoning currently sits. It
I
yielded
was
roughly.
curious as to what the lot loss was.
Yeah, I honestly, I couldn't say, Brian. I don't know. I know what it is at R1, but I don't know what it is at a straight R2.
This subdivision might have an issue with north-south depth of it,
It will. Yeah, yeah.
so you'd have to probably go with extremely wide lots to get the 20,000
And then that would be
foot.
kind of
Yeah,
funky
because of the
looking.
north-south distance.
You're
you
kind of
don't have
stretched
it.
out as you are, right? Yeah, because you are limited by the ponds, by the detention. So the R2 was probably not going to yield you much more than the R1.
I was just curious if they had engineered at some point 15,000 square foot lots.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid we didn't. I'm sorry.
And Bob and John, I mean, your opinions are, I mean, knowing the all brick issue, I mean, you make a valid point. I mean, the amenities are very nice.
I mean, what if they,
Jim, you'd probably have to go
I
with
mean,
a
don't-
142-foot wide lot
Don't hold it.
to get to
don't hold it. What
20,000.
I'm thinking, so don't do that.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, what if,
No, don't, I mean, don't- I would just
I mean,
leave it
what,
as,
what would you feel about on the sides of like 1, 12, 33, 34, 54, 24, 43, 45, 25, 42? I mean, those would be the ones that would,
Yeah.
if they did like
Probably that one,
carried it down the side or something.
this one.
Well, I'm not sure you'd carry it down the side. What you might do is you might have a return.
Yeah, or
And we've
returns
done
or
that, and
something,
that's
yeah.
more typical, is that you maybe have a 2 or 3 foot return around a corner.
Because I know, I think in Meadowgate where you guys did it, they did on the roadsides or boulevard sides, they did a side brick too.
Really?
A little
Okay,
bit,
and left
yeah.
the other side in the back?
Yeah, or they
Side.
did, or if it was on the pond, they did all brick, I think, so.
I guess, at this point, if we don't have a favorable motion, if it were my choice, and it's not, I would, prefer maybe we defer this and try to see if there's some other way we could find a
guys,
meeting of the
I'm just
minds.
one man's opinion, or person's opinion, so.
Well,
I mean, you guys are seeing, I mean, you guys see this a lot more than, John, I mean, you're out there all the day, so you see, he has moved from his initial presentation to a much nicer home. So, I mean, if you guys are comfortable, I mean,
When he initially came in, it was like 70-foot wide lots.
Yes.
75.
Yeah.
80, and I know I was the first one to say, no way.
And that's fine,
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Just no way.
and what's gonna happen, they're gonna, anyone who comes in behind Chip is gonna see the heartache I'm causing you guys right now. They'll be like, and they'll be like, okay, we know where they stand. So, we got 4 options. I don't wanna expedite the conversation. If you guys wanna talk, we could talk. We got the 4 options again. Again, making a favorable recommendation. Again, the town council could do what they want, no matter what our decision is.
Yeah.
So it's a favorable, non-favorable, no recommendation, and then a deferral.
Deferral.
But
If you don't mind, I mean, he's saying deferral, okay? Which means there's still, the table's open for dialogue.
Well, Chip, I'm sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to, is Altoff, would they consider any,
I have to go back and ask.
Okay.
Because I think, in their point of view, they've done a lot, and they're
If
pretty close to crying uncle, more or less. So I would need to ask. I wouldn't be able to say that today.
and Joe, we're playing chicken.
Right.
We're playing chicken. If they go back and they're not happy, like he said, they can go all R1, put aluminum siding, 2-car garage doors, and you leave it at that.
You don't get the
And-
36 to
and then you do-
70,000 per home.
And you don't get that.
Increased value,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm playing, we're playing chicken.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be.
I know.
You know what I
I'm just
mean?
using- I'm just
No,
using.
and I
you
appreciate
have-
it,
You
yeah.
have every option to go R1.
But it can happen that
And we
way.
have, no-
It could.
and we have no
we would
option
prefer
on the
not.
And
statics.
if it does, if it could, okay, then we know where they stood from the beginning. I'm just saying that, so
should be
playing
a-
chicken is not playing chicken here, and it's not trying to put them on the spot.
Right.
We're saying that the table is open for them to go back, and you know what? The town is being open to all the possibilities that they're out there. We're not developer untrusty, okay? We don't dislike anybody, but let's try to talk for what's in the best interest, and we can say, we proudly work with you. But if we are afraid that, well, this is what they're gonna do next, then might as well just shut the door from here on.
Sure.
And I don't wanna sound that way. We're
No,
not that
and,
way. I'm not that
and we
way.
don't either. I guess, and again, I'm repeating myself a little bit. In my head or my heart, I'm looking at this as, I'd rather have the extra 12 lots for the tax base and everything else at a much higher quality look and style and the amenities and the landscaping and the park equipment and everything else. But if we are at kind of a stalemate here and we're not going to be able to get a favorable recommendation, then I would respectfully ask for a deferral, and we'll see if there's something else we can do.
Then because he's not here to have a dialogue with you.
This has got to go to the boss.
Right, so that you could go back and
Above my pay grade, as they say.
and then he could come back and maybe we'll spend another 20 minutes or whatever minutes here to have a decent dialogue.
And we can
about
work
it.
with Sergio
Right.
and
I
see if there's something.
I'll ask one more time from the board. It only takes 4 to approve a motion. So is there a motion that the board feels comfortable giving at this point? If not, I'll entertain a motion to defer. And then again, we would go through this next October.
Next month.
I'll make a motion to defer.
I have a motion from Bob to defer. Is there a second?
I do.
I got a second by Joe. Discussion, comments? First, I want to thank the board for their patience and understanding. I'm sorry for being a PIA. Yep, thank you. Sorry
No
about
problem.
that.
All good. All good, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed. One opposed by Bob. All right, motion passes 5-1.
Okay, Ed, regardless, I appreciate your input.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. And for the crowd, I apologize for the discussion, so. Next on the agenda, we have public hearing for Cannon. This is for a proposed rezone. We are discussing the rezone right now. This is from R1 at 8167 Wicker. This is Lot 2.
Personally, I would approve.
This is for the rezone of Lot 2 from what I believe is commercial now to R1 Single Family Resident. Hello there, gentlemen. If you
Howdy,
would
gentlemen.
state your name for the record.
Zach Cannon. Mark Cannon.
All right, if you just want to give a brief description of, this is just for the rezone, so if you give a brief description on what you're proposing for the record, and then I'll open up the public hearing.
Right, so a rezone for Lot 2, which will be, I believe, technically it hasn't been put into place yet. There isn't an 8167 Lot 2 yet, but we are here for the one home construction residential R1 rezone for the proposed Lot 2.
All right. Any questions from the board? All right, gentlemen, if you want to take a seat, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Sergio, we're good to go?
We are.
We are good to go. Okay, I'm going to now open up the public hearing for the proposed rezone of Lot 2 from R1 Single Family at 8167. The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Going once, going twice. Any electronic comments, Sergio?
We have not received any correspondence via email.
Going 3 times. Public hearing is now closed. Gentlemen, if you want to come back up. This is a recommendation. You understand it is only a recommendation that we give to the town council, and then you would have to go back to the town council for final approval.
Correct.
So again, this is a rezone from commercial to R1. Any questions for the Cannons? If not, I will entertain a recommendation for approval, denial, or favorable, unfavorable, no recommendation.
Want to make a favorable recommendation for Cannon's addition, rezone to R1.
I have a favorable recommendation for, to the town council to rezone to R1. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Bob. Any discussion, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now, that's how a public hearing's supposed to go, gentlemen. That's how we go. If Doug and Mr. Boyer, if you don't mind, I'm gonna, while the cannons are up here, we have some replating issues to take care of. So, gentlemen, I'm sorry I'm gonna make you keep in your seats for a little bit. So also on item 6E, we do have the proposed preliminary plat. We thought it might be good to address it at this time while the cannons are here. This does not need a public hearing because they have already gone through it. So let me read the letter for the record. Dear Plan Commission, the subdivision project subdivides a 4.75 acre lot into 2 lots. Lot 1 contains an existing residence and an existing commercial building. Lot 2 will only have 1 new residence built upon it. We have reviewed the primary plat and find it to be satisfactory except for the following. Curbs are not planned along the US 41 frontage. Sidewalks are not planned along the US 41 frontage. All other public improvements are existing. Please note that the water and sanitary sewer lines that serve Lot 2 are considered private, not public. Improvements do not need to be installed prior to secondary plat approval. The egress easement maintenance agreement between the lot owners as approved by Anthony Decker, attorney, will need to be shown on the secondary plat. This application fee is $1,500. It was paid 5/9/2022. If you have any questions, please contact this office. So, we have for discussion, approval of primary plat for Lot 1, or the subdivision, Lot 1 and 2. There are some waivers that need to be discussed. I will start with Lot 2 that is currently up for consideration of the town council for residential. We will need to look for waivers of frontage because they're not on a road, Lot 2, curbs and sidewalk. So if there's any discussions or comments from the board, Mr. Decker, for efficiency, can we take all 3 waivers at once, or would you prefer them individually?
I would prefer they be discussed and considered individually.
All right. So with that, if there's any discussions from the board, I will entertain 3 individual motions. One for frontage for Lot 2, waiver for no frontage on Lot 2, waiver of curbs. Ooh, this one's going to be interesting, and sidewalks.
Well, it looks like on the plan, the curbs are there, and I think on the aerial that Sergio had, there's curbs in front of
In front of Lot 1.
Lot
2,
1.
we're talking Lot 2 only.
Okay.
This is only Lot 2. This is where the resident property is on the backside. So he's supposed to have frontage. This lot's supposed to have frontage, it's supposed to have sidewalks, and it's supposed to have curbs.
Yeah, but it's saying along US
Yep.
41 frontage.
Well, that will be
That's Lot 1.
for Lot 1.
So we're going to do the waivers for Lot 2 and then the waivers for Lot 1 second?
Yes,
Okay, got it.
Gotcha.
Lot 2. So I apologize if I didn't make that clear. So this is again Lot 2. We have 3 waivers, frontage, curb, sidewalk. I will entertain a motion individually, please. Someone give Bob a break, man.
I'll make a motion
That's gonna go.
to waive the requirement for frontage on Lot 2.
I got a motion to approve waiver for Lot 2 frontage. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second by, Bob here. I got a second by Bob. Discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained. All right, we got for curb. We need a waiver for curb of Lot 2. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to make a waiver for curbs on Lot 2.
I got Jason making a motion to approve the waiver for curb at Lot 2. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second by Bob Brilson. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Waiver for sidewalk on Lot 2. No, I'm kidding. Is there a consideration, a motion? of
Motion.
sidewalk?
Motion to waive the sidewalk on Lot 2.
I have a motion to approve waiver of sidewalk on Lot 2. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second by Bob. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain. All right, now we got waiver for sidewalk on Lot 1. Lot 1 is, of course, along US 41. No curb, Ken? No curb waiver?
There are curbs
Oh, there are curbs?
existing.
So, what is the pleasure of the board for requesting waiver on sidewalk? Gentlemen, besides the fact that you don't want to put it in, or it's a sidewalk to nowhere, is there any hardship that you can tell me exists for not being able to put the sidewalk in?
Other than financial burden?
You could use it, but I don't know if it's gonna work for you.
We do have the ditch, and then, essentially right, I don't know if this, how up to date the aerial view is, but you have Michael's Bar, they have that little bar sign, as well as that tree, so like really it would go from like.
Please stop us right away in a second.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to come back. I apologize, Mr. Cannon.
I was just trying to, the Michael's Bar next door has
Now goes to the center of the road.
has their bar sign. Their establishment has their sign. It meets right with our property for people to see on the road. So it would,
Run right into it if.
yeah, if we would have to put in a sidewalk, it would either, it couldn't be right up on the road due to the ditch. And then if it was a little bit behind the ditch, or, I mean, obviously I don't think we can fill in that ditch, right? Because that's
Drainage, yeah.
drainage. So otherwise, it would have to go, up to their sign, and then vice versa with the other side, it would run to Northwoods, which
Is a wooded lot.
right, which there is a bunch of trees there, and they do have where the old "Welcome to St. John" sign used to sit was on our property. They took that down now. It was St. John, right? It was "Welcome to St. John." Yeah. The "Welcome to St. John" sign was on our property.
Or the easement.
Yeah, right on the easement.
They're getting ready for you to put that sidewalk in. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And again, there are no, if you look at that aerial view, there are no sidewalks anywhere there.
Mr. Cannon, I totally,
Nowhere.
Going down towards
And
Coleman.
as you
Yep.
said, it is a US highway.
Yeah.
all right, gentlemen, I will enter, any other discussion for the Cannons regarding waiver of sidewalk on Lot 1? If not, I will entertain a motion. Approve, deny. That's all you get, right? Approve and deny.
That ditch being there, it is a relatively wide ditch, and our interconnect is right there in front of their building for the water main. I'll make a motion to grant the waiver for sidewalk.
I got a motion to approve the waiver for sidewalk. Is there a second?
I have a question. So Lot 1.
Can you second it first, and then we can go to question? You don't have to vote in favor of it. Just trying to follow Robert's Rule of Order.
Okay.
You second it?
No.
Okay. You don't have to vote in favor of it. Sorry for being a pain.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a second. Discussions, questions?
Question, Lot 1, we're not replatting that, right?
Correct.
So, but we could have. We could have pulled that, so,
Well, it'll
It
become,
is being
it
replatted.
is,
Yes.
so we could have pulled that lot line to the east more to get a sidewalk in and get it out of the ditch, correct?
You could request additional right-of-way, correct?
right, that's the existing right-of-way shown there.
The second line over from the middle of the road,
And the red line.
yes.
Well, we're doing that right now, so you could ask for it, right?
That be in the water?
Yeah, we'd have to pull that line to the east.
But we're replatting it now, though, but you
Yeah.
can make that request. We would just,
So what I'm saying is your lot line, the second red line, where, show it,
You're saying to
move
add
it over
five-
to the
Five
east.
more feet
Yep,
of right-of-way, hereby dedicated to who? The town or?
Well, couldn't they just put a sidewalk easement on there to put it not on their private property then?
For the town. That way the state's got to get it from us.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the
Dedicated.
right-of-way would have to run to the highway, not to the town. As far as easements go, to have an easement specifically for a sidewalk wouldn't allow anything else in there then.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in favor of an easement. Just pull the lot line to the east.
8-foot
Well, if you
sidewalk.
dedicate that to the town, wouldn't we be responsible for that sidewalk then?
Anything that could happen is,
We're responsible for all city walk.
Yeah, well, all the walks are in right-of-ways for the most part.
And the sidewalk would be 8-foot required?
8-foot requirement on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
due to the size of the
We'd
road.
have to have 8 feet then. This board pushes for sidewalk, and we put it in some of the strangest spots, but we put it in because someday it might have sidewalks along that stretch.
Although unlikely, because of the road signs. I mean, if you look at Michael's lot,
Yeah.
where his parking lot comes to, and his brick sign that's in front of, his sign's on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could say that for other areas,
I
but now
understand. I get it.
they're screaming for sidewalks.
Right.
If you'd have said that 20 years ago, yeah, but
I get
now there's areas that are screaming for sidewalks.
Yeah, I mean, this is not your typical residential area, though. I mean, it's.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, obviously, since
Right, but when they're the state or whoever's coming through looking for, connectivity, going down 41 for an alternative route for connectivity is what they're looking for. So, while that might not be important right now, it will be soon.
All right. Any more questions for the canons or discussion between the board? I'm sorry. So we have a motion and a second to grant the waiver.
Did we
Any other
have a
discussion?
second?
We had a second to open it for discussion.
Okay.
All right. Jason, anybody else before we open it up for a vote? All right, Sergio, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote on this one, please. Sure.
Bob Rolson,
This is to grant the waiver. The motion is to grant.
No.
John Gill,
No.
Joe Gomestego. Bob Valois,
Yeah.
Jason Vlasic,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
No. Motion to grant the waiver has been denied. Is there, I will entertain another motion, gentlemen.
I'll make a motion to deny the sidewalk waiver for lot 1.
I have a motion to deny the granting of a waiver. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Bob Brilson. Question, comment? Roll call, please, Sergio.
Bob Rolson,
Yes.
John Gill,
Yes.
Joe Gomestego,
yes.
Bob Valois,
No.
Jason Vlasic,
No.
and John Kennedy.
Yes. Motion denied. Waiver passes 4-2. Next on the agenda, gentlemen, we have the actual replatting of the subdivision. I will entertain a recommendation. Now, should we discuss the is there anything that needs to be done with this replatting while we're doing it now as a contingency to move back the property line to gain them access to the sidewalk? Or am I overstepping my technical abilities? Do we need to add that as a part of the replat?
Probably a contingency, I would think, but that's my opinion.
Well, they're gonna have to put it in to get the approval of the plat.
Yeah.
Or the secondary. So is there anything we need to do, Ken, or regarding the actual property line?
If you're
For
going
the
to
sidewalk?
require a sidewalk east of the line that they show there now, it would have to be contingent upon additional right-of-way wide enough to include that sidewalk within it.
All right, so to the board, when we make the recommendation, please reference Ken's letter, finding the fact and the required additional right-of-way on the west side of the property for a sidewalk. If there's no other discussions, I will entertain a motion.
And this motion is for lot 1
This is-
preliminary?
this is for the replating of lot 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then, yeah, the letter, finding of facts, and then the additional
Okay.
right-of-way for the sidewalk.
Make a motion for approval for Lot 1 and 2, findings of facts, and Ken's letter, and moving the west property line sufficient enough to put in a 8-foot wide path.
So I have a motion to approve primary plat, sorry, I got approval to approve primary plat for the subdivision with referencing Ken's letter, finding of facts, and the additional easements required for the sidewalk. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
I got a second by Jason. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 6-0. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Next. Doug, Mr. Boyer, thank you for that. Appreciate that, getting that business. We have our final public hearing. We got Shops 96. This is a proposed amend secondary plat to PUD at 96 Place and Wicker Avenue. Mr. Reddick, you want to give a brief description for the record?
Yeah, Doug Reddick with DVG. Bruce Boyer, the developer of Shops 96, of course, is here as well. I have handouts if anybody wants to see the plat. It's what we presented a couple weeks ago.
Doug, can I grab one? I was not here. I apologize. Or is it the same, is this?
I saw it already.
I'm sorry.
It also shows the current area photograph is the last page. Which shows why we're doing this, because the road was obviously built outside of where the right-of-way was originally platted.
No, I gave it to him.
Might want to look at the last page. So the aerial photograph explains it very well. When we originally platted Shops 96, the right-of-way is, as shown where those yellow lines are. And then due to the soil conditions, the road had to be moved and was built further east in a different alignment. So we're simply replatting the subdivision to fit the current road alignment. It's really that simple. But in the interim, from the time we recorded the plat to now, several parcels have been sold off. So it also affected the second page of the plat, which is ownership. We have, I think, 9 different owners that need to sign because of the Wendy's and the Centaur and the car wash, and Mr. Boyer's got a couple different entities, and the town's involved. Plan Commission involved, and so is Redevelopment Commission. So we went, Ken and I and our team at DVG, we went through all the ownership very carefully, did a graphical illustration so everybody can see who owns what, and I think we have it worked out, and so that's what we're here tonight, for replatting, amending the original Shops 96 plat.
How much difference is there really in it, Doug?
How much difference is there really?
Real difference is there, footage-wise? In other words, you moved the road over a foot, 2 foot?
Oh, no, it's very significant how much the road moved, yeah. The road moved maybe 800 feet.
Oh, all right, you're going
sorry,
off the original. No, I got one.
I don't know if we
here.
have that.
Look on the last
Give it to us
page,
tonight.
Brian.
Oh, okay.
the,
I was gonna say.
the Sidwell thing.
Oh, the,
Oh, no.
oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
The road zigged when it should
Oh,
have.
gotcha.
The original one,
Oh,
Jason?
I knew we did a lot of revamping, but I didn't know exactly that.
That's all right.
I know we had to scoot over.
It's more than a couple
More
feet.
than this.
Yeah, more than scoot, right.
The only one.
So what this does, it gets the road dedication to correspond with the existing location of the road.
All right. Questions, comments for Doug?
I got, oh, I had a couple of questions. Okay, so when this was first platted out, and I guess it was conceived as a roundabout at some point,
That's correct.
so who did that? original.
We were involved with that as well. So originally, there was a roundabout plan, and we were actually hired, DVG was hired to write legal descriptions for the acquisition of those properties.
Okay.
So what you see on the GIS, that property from the Thiels, which is the one on the west, was acquired, and the town owns it. So that's why it shows up on the GIS site. Across the street is the Parada property for that little half circle.
Right.
That was acquired by the town. It's never been part of the subdivision, but it was done separately, and the right-of-way for the roundabout was acquired by the town 2-3 years ago now. But we didn't build it that way. So you guys still own everything within the yellow there is owned by the town, but
Are
it's
there
not
any-
part of Shop 96.
So with this replat, what's the proposed use for that property then? that
It's
was
a
acquired?
totally separate matter, Joe, because it's not part of the subdivision. So it's something the town has to decide. You own it. Do you want to possibly give some of it back to the owners, the Thiels and Mr. Parada, or do you want to keep it for future? Because
Okay.
you own it, and I can't do anything on the plat because it's not part of the plat. Never
Right.
was.
So with respect to the plat, and I wasn't here when all this originally had
Right.
taken place.
Right.
So the ingress, egress, whatever this thing is, I'm gonna need a microscope to see it. So there's a 40-foot access easement that goes north-south and interconnects with 96 Place.
Right, that was put there so future connection to 96 Place could be done through Lot 2 to the property to the north.
Okay, who controls that and maintains it, and what kind of maintenance agreement do we have on that?
Lot 2 is the owner of it. It's going to be on their property. They will maintain it as part of their property. They can't build over it. They can't deny traffic to go through there. It's going to be, we have that lot designed. It's part of a parking lot, but it will provide ingress and egress to the property to the north in case they want to use it. Doesn't mean they have to use it. Doesn't mean they will use it, but it's just going to be part of our lot and will be maintained as a parking lot.
As a parking lot,
Part of the parking lot, a driveway through the parking lot.
the driveway through
I
the
don't. I
parking.
didn't bring the site plan. We have a tentative site
The
plan.
only reason I ask this is because I know this is gonna come up in 5 or 10 years down the road. So, or sooner. So is there a maintenance agreement on that?
Which one was Snow and Sons?
There, unless it's in the PUD. Do you have any?
They were on 41.
There's no maintenance agreement. It's
Mr. Boyer,
maintained by the owner.
Mr. Boyer,
Give you a
I'm sorry, if you would, just for the record,
Sure.
name is,
Bruce Boyer, Boyer Properties, the developers, the original developers of the Shops 96. The easement, as Doug explained, was simply a request of the Plan Commission at that time to provide access to the north if it's ever desired for anybody. So we've provided an easement on our property that anybody can use, and it's recorded as part of the PUD.
Right, so if it
Something we
falls
can
into
take away.
disrepair, who's responsible to maintain it?
I'm sorry?
Who's responsible to maintain it? if
We
it
are, the
falls
owner
into-
of Lot 2.
So
Whoever
the
owns Lot 2.
the owner of Lot 2 is responsible for maintaining it, and we have something to document that.
I'm not sure
Well,
you need it.
I don't think you need anything. It's recorded as part of the subdivision plat as an easement.
Okay, so I'm having this issue somewhere else, so that's why I'm asking the question here today. Is with respect to this north-south access road, which it is, the town isn't supposed to maintain the road,
Correct.
okay? But it's set up as a roadway,
No,
access way.
it's not a roadway.
Oh,
It's an
okay.
access.
Okay, but it's
easement.
being used as one, that's what I'm
It's
trying to
nothing but
explain.
a path through our lot
Right.
that'll be paved and maintained by the owner of Lot 2.
That coincides with the parking lot for Lot 2.
We've designed our parking lot to leave that as an open access area.
But the path could have vehicles on it,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And
That's
it
the
does.
intention.
There's a lot of traffic that goes
No,
through
no.
that area.
I'm talking this ingress, egress. The,
This little easement right here, that goes by the car wash there.
no, they're talking about this one.
Oh, this, I don't know, is he talking about that?
Oh, I'm
Oh,
talking
Joe,
about.
I'm sorry, are you talking
yeah.
about the one on the north side or the south side?
I'm talking south of 96. I'm
He's
not
talking west of,
Okay,
The
I'm
west side of
West
Lot
of
2.
Lot
We're
3.
talking about the one to the north.
I'm talking
sorry.
about this one right
Okay,
here.
Okay.
Okay, where the
Yes,
car
that-
wash is,
yes, yes. So that is an existing easement, same as the other one, that is owned. and-
that one I'm not even, that's not a roadway to me, that's just an access easement.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
sorry.
yeah, but this is in fact, the one you're talking about is in fact a roadway.
Okay,
It's already built, being used, and it will be owned and maintained by the owner of Lot 3 on the new plat, which currently is owned by the Franciscan
Yes.
Alliance Group. Same as the access out to 41.
I was gonna say, it's not just that north-south access, it's also the access between the car wash and the body shop.
Right. And
part
that
of lot-
access extends beyond this area here that's shown on this into, I guess it would be Earl Drive south of there?
Right.
Okay. Or whatever
And I
that,
don't,
yeah.
I'm not sure Earl Drive is actually platted as a road.
It's not. It's an
anywhere.
ingress and
It's an
egress easement,
yeah.
much like this is. It's
That's
not
why we-
platted as a right-of-way. There's no right-of-way dedicated to anything. It's not really engineered correctly for what it's being used for. And that's why, the council has some concerns with it further south of there as well. But my issue is who's maintaining that? Who's going to be required to repave it when it needs to get done?
The owner of Lot 3.
Lot 3. That was the desire of the plan commission at the time in the town council. We tried to dedicate that as a roadway to the town.
Well, I mean, my thing is if it's a private roadway, then it needs to be indicated as such on there, and it's really not. It just says it's an ingress and egress easement.
Legally, that's what it is. It's an ingress egress easement.
And is there, like I said, you do have a maintenance agreement on this thing?
No, the owner of Lot 3 is required to maintain it.
Required to maintain it, but maintain it how? Is there something in writing specific to the maintenance of that road or access road?
I don't think there's anything specifically as to how to maintain it or repave
Because
it.
didn't we just have this exercise with the Cannon property where it was required that they have a maintenance agreement on that, and that wording was put into the plat?
Yes.
And that wasn't done in this instance?
No.
It was not.
That's all I have.
Well, and maybe you bring up a good point, maybe it needs to be. Make it very clear to Lot 3 that it should be part of the recording of Lot 3 or this plat that Lot 3 has to maintain that. So that when they buy that lot, they know they have to maintain that.
They already own
They
it.
already own it.
It's owned by the sisters.
Buyer knows that it's.
I know, but if that owner sells it to somebody else, they won't know that.
In
Unless
five,
it's
in
part
5
of
or
the
10 years
plat.
down the road, someone's going to forget about it because there's nothing in writing to protect the
Well, and it
town.
should be
or
part of
the
the
people that
plat.
are driving up and down that road, much like Earl Drive over by McDonald's.
Right.
And that whole disaster that you see on social media, the town's getting beat up for it, and it's not even a town road, but the town allows people to drive on it.
So maybe
And it's not really the town allowing it, they're just using it as an access point.
And there's no agreement on that one.
No.
I know what you're
So
talking
maybe there
about.
should be language on this plat to say that.
To maintain it how?
Well, as time goes by, there's an erosion, sometimes like the road that's behind McDonald's, right around there's some potholes that have been created, and eventually someone's gonna,
Right. Even the geometry on those radiuses are horrible. I mean, you can't even pull a car into that. I mean, it's just, it's not done right.
So Adam, understanding you were not here back in the day when this was, hearing what Joe.
And I'm not an engineer.
Hearing what Joe's concern is with maintenance, or the understanding of a maintenance agreement. Right before us is a amendment to the plat. Is there anything that, at this time, as a and I'm just spitballing here, is there anything that can be included in a I don't know, I'm asking, to address the maintenance of that 40-foot access easement to the east of Lot 1 and 2, or if we want to say west of Lot 3?
Right. So, Mr. Chairman, this is a different animal entirely than what we dealt with Cannon's addition. Cannon's addition was an agreement between the two lot owners for access to Lot 2. That, in that plat, there will be language that basically provides shared maintenance responsibilities really to the benefit of Lot 2, which is the residential lot, over and across Lot 1 to be able to access Lot 2. And so That language simply provided that, for example, as I recall, I don't have it in front of me, but that the owner of Lot 2, the residential lot, would bear 2/3 of the expense of maintaining that access road over and across Lot 1. The owner of Lot 1 would bear 1/3 responsibility of that cost. It was pretty straightforward in the sense that we were dealing with a two-lot subdivision. I don't know how we would tackle this in a same or similar vein. I'm not saying it can't be done. I don't know that it would be a contingency and something that we would leave to contingency. I think this would need to be much more thoroughly vetted if in fact the Plan Commission is going to require that for purposes of this replat.
I think that's putting a big burden on us after the fact. I mean, I would have to go back to Franciscan, they bought the property the way it was platted and with the restrictions that were on it. Now we'd have to ask them to to further encumber their property. We're here simply trying to fix something where, the town has built a road on property they don't even own.
The town built that road?
Yes. 96th was built.
Oh,
by
the 96, yeah, I could see that.
We built the road north and south on the easement.
Right.
As an access easement for the outlots along 41 as well as.
This is the one
Lot
I'm
3.
talking about.
That's access easement.
Yeah, that's, the access easement on the west side of Lot 3, that's the one I'm,
Yes,
That's correct.
who built that road?
We did.
the
You
developer.
did, okay. So technically, it's an easement, so you're giving anybody the right to ride over that. But
Correct.
you're also, are you accepting responsibility if something happens there?
Yes. The owner of Lot 3 has accepted the responsibility for that.
Okay, so if there's any damage or so forth, you will take care of that for
Yes.
the town.
It's on their,
understand
you don't have a
they own
choice.
that road.
It's on their property.
Yeah, and I can understand that. That's great. I mean, I like that idea, but
Well, in reality, they have to maintain it within our covenants and restrictions of the development in the PUD also, because they're providing access to the lots along 41.
right. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. You're moving this thing around here. I'm just gonna look at this here.
Ken, your engineering expertise, any recommendation, suggestion, or
My understanding has always been if it's an easement on private property that allows public vehicles to go on it, whoever owns that parcel is the one who has to maintain that easement. So if the Franciscans own it and there's a pothole in that easement, the Franciscans are the ones who should repair that.
what stake does the town have to make that property owner or a property owner, let's say McDonald's, fix it? Since it seems like,
Or the owner of
or
McDonald's.
the owner of the property, yeah.
Because farther south, that's
And that's
not, there's an issue
Same,
there.
same issue.
Same issue. I
The
know
property
what
owner does not
Same
want to
issue.
fix it,
Nope.
and,
you guys inherited.
residents are
His
screaming
solution is
that
to
it
block
needs
it
to be
off, and
fixed.
that's not a solution.
Yeah, I know that. I know.
Or for the town to fix it and lien the property. That's your ultimate remedy.
Well, that's ultimately where we're gonna end up going.
And frankly, in this case, the owner of Lot 3 would have more grief from the owner, from Crew Car Wash and Center Bank about fixing a road than anything the town would put at him.
Exactly. It's easier to fix the road.
Wow.
It says 40.
Which one?
This one here?
No, keep going there.
40 feet here?
Yeah, is it 40 feet?
Yeah, it's 40 feet.
It's 40.
The roadway's 40 feet or the?
Oh, the right-of-way is 40 feet.
The easement.
Yeah, the roadway's is less than that.
Like 27.
I don't remember what the.
It varies, 20, 25.
26, 27. yeah,
20,
I'm good.
28 feet. Just give it 2 feet.
Okay.
Also, for what it's worth, the majority of that road is concrete rather than asphalt.
Okay. Before I open it up to public hearing, unless there's any more questions or comments for the petitioner, I will read Mr. Kraus's letter. Dear Plan Commission, we have reviewed the amended secondary plat submittal for the reference project and have the following comments. 1, the changes from the original plans are as follows. A, Lot 1 has been divided into 2 lots named Lot 1A and Lot 1B. B, Lots 2 and 3 have been combined into one outlet named Outlet 2. Lots 3 and 4 have been combined into one lot named Lot. Let me rephrase that. C, Lots 3 and 4 have been combined into one lot named Lot 3. D, Lot 6 is renamed to Lot 4. E, Lot 5 and part of West 96 right-of-way becomes a portion of Outlet A and all of Outlet B with a portion of the new West 96 Place right-of-way. F, a portion of the original West 96 Place right-of-way will be vacated and become part of Lot 2 and part of Outlot A. G, a 150 to 230 wide detention easement at the rear of original Lot 3 and a 230-foot wide detention easement at the rear of original Lot 4 has been replaced with a 25-foot wide access and utility easement. We have reviewed the amended plat dated September 1st, 2022, and find it to be satisfactory. Sincerely, Ken Kraus. Any questions before I open up the public hearing? Gentlemen, if you want to take a seat. Sergio, good?
Yes, we're good to
All
proceed.
right, we're good for a public hearing. The public hearing is now open for the amended secondary plat for the reference project. Shops 96, plat to PUD, 96 Place and Wicker Avenue. Is there anyone here for public comment? Once, twice, Sergio Electronic?
No correspondence received electronically.
No electronic. Going 3 times. Public hearing is now closed. I will bring it back to the board. Doug, questions, comments? Adam, I know you said it would take deeper. Is this something that this plan commission should take some due diligence to review potential maintenance? Mr. Boyer, I understand what you said about your issue with the landowner, but maybe should we just dot our i's and cross our t's to see if there's anything available at this time and seek a motion? I mean, we're dropping it on, we're bringing it up for the first time, Doug. I don't know if it was brought up at study session, so I apologize. But I understand what Joe is saying. I see what's going on behind. I hear what Mr. Boyer is saying about his agreement already with the Lot 3 owner. But I just, before we make any decisions, I just wonder if we should take some due diligence and time and effort to review. Or if you're saying,
I'm sorry,
Chairman, there is nothing we can do.
No, Mr. Chairman, I don't have an answer for you.
Okay.
If you want to defer this to review it further, the Plan Commission has that discretion to take as much time as it wants to consider this, the replat, the secondary plat. As far as a maintenance agreement, as I indicated, what we did with Cannon's addition is entirely different than what would be contemplated for purposes of this particular subdivision. Because it would, as Mr. Boyer pointed out correctly, would require participation of all of the owners at this point, because, you know, with Cannon's addition, we had one applicant who owned them both. Now we have 3 separate entities. That could take months to, you know, go through that, to try to negotiate the terms of some type of maintenance agreement regarding this easement. In hindsight, perhaps this should have been dedicated as a public right-of-way from the outset. I don't know why that was not done. It's really up to the Plan Commission how it wants to proceed, and if the Plan Commission determines that it wants to take that step, it has, you know, the discretion to do so, but I don't know, I don't have a simple solution for how to address the future maintenance requirements for that easement.
I understand exactly what Joe's talking about, is sometimes town gets blamed for issues it's out of their control. And why I don't see any issue with the current roadway right now. You never know what happens in 5 years and someone's gonna get pointing fingers. I just wanna make sure before we make any decisions, we're dotting our i's, crossing our t's, so. Ken, any final comments? You just see it as, it is what it is, and
I think Mr. Boyer said that the maintenance of that easement is in the covenants and restrictions of the
believe
PUD.
We have a CCR for the entire development.
I definitely would like to take a look at that.
Can we defer that until I'm
have-
sorry.
No, Joe, as Attorney Decker said, it's at our discretion. We could make a motion to defer for further review and come back here for October to take this up, when we have time and they can have time to look at,
Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain we got a motion to either approve, deny, make a motion to defer, so we got options.
I make a motion to defer. That gives us a little bit of time to breathe. And I'm sorry, everything that's coming up to being put on our lap is that things that were done before, we're going, what happened here? Like he's asking questions, hard questions, and it's no reflection on your due diligence.
So
But what we're trying to just get to the,
Well, again, I'd like to stress that, we're trying to clean up a problem for the town. You have a road that's in use right now on land you don't own. And that, I think, is a bigger problem, the maintenance issue of an existing road that is really just an easement.
and then that's something we need to look into.
Okay, so I have a motion to defer.
I agree with what Mr. Boyer's saying. This is a serious issue. I had a question in terms of how this realignment took place, but in terms of, did they not have any geotechnical work done on this?
It was the desire of, and maybe Ken could explain a little bit, it was the desire to try and save some money on the project and relocate the road. They ended up buying some of the land back from me at the rear, a lot 5. It became a big mess, and yet they proceeded without doing this step, which should have been done first.
And this roadway was put in when, about?
2 years ago? Maybe a year it's been open?
Okay.
We need to look into that.
You can see by the exhibit where the right-of-way exists and where the road exists.
Yeah. I mean, the alignment is way off, but again, I don't know if when they did this original alignment, what kind of geotechnical work was done to determine, well, we have to go this way versus going that way.
Joe, I was on the plan commission when this was approved, and if I didn't say it 100 times, I didn't say it once, that there should have been soil borings done, and everybody in the room said there's no wetlands and there is no peat out there. And I said, you gotta look on GIS Silverlight, there is wetlands, and everybody said, no, there isn't. And I said, there's probably peat out there, and here we are today.
So we do have a motion to defer. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We got a second by Jason. Comments, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Doug, we will see you in October.
1 month or study session.
Or we'll see you in the study session. It's only a quick one, 30 minutes. 5:30. 5:30.
I'll be here for something else. I forget. What
I did see, once we get the maintenance agreement understanding, I think that will, so.
I have nothing on it. I've never seen anything on it.
So,
I just want. Anything to do with the road. Right.
all right.
appreciate it. Thank you.
With that, we have public comment. Is there any public comment? I would like to just make one public comment. Ken, thank you for your steadfast advice, guidance, bad advice you've given us. No,
Wow.
I would do it with love. I don't know if this is, but.
You've been a loving sort tonight, haven't you,
We
John?
appreciate all that you've done for the Plan Commission, and thank you for your time and effort, so greatly appreciate it, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you very
and
much.
I'll echo those sentiments as well, Ken. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's been great working with all of you, and I've always appreciated the support that you guys have given me and all the trust that you placed in me on contingencies upon engineer's review. So thank you very much.
And we didn't try to throw you under the bus too many times, but there's some tracks over above your chest, so
Yeah, I
we
still have some
appreciate
tread
it.
marks across my back.
Awesome. And with that,
Thanks, Ken.
Ken,
You're welcome.
you want to stand up and take a bow? All right, with that,